Let's say I have a switch. I have two systems connected to the switch. Who generates the ARP request? So let me share my screen so that you can see my screen. You guys are not studying. I don't know, like this, how you are going to learn so many concepts. But trust me, based on this, you are going to build up your career instead of what you are studying in your college. So studying in college is equally important to get the marks, and that's one thing. But this is really very important when it comes on to the job and when it comes on to some things which you have to perform onto the job. So our today's topic is again switching. Previous topic, we have seen that a switch is a layer 2 device, right, which has lot of interfaces or ports. When I say it is a layer 2 device, that means this layer 2 device understands only and only about the MAC address, nothing else. So I asked you who generates the ARP. I said the system is 192.168.1.1. I said the system is 192.168.1.2. MAC is A, MAC is B, right? And now the system 1.1 needs to talk to 1.2. So system A will generate an ARP request. Why? Because he knows his IP, the destination IP, his own MAC, but he doesn't know the destination MAC. So to know the destination MAC, it generates an ARP request. ARP is please get me the MAC against a particular IP, right? It is heard by every port. This is going to respond it back and it updates its ARP table and switch will update its MAC table, as I have told you in my previous lecture, but nobody has read it. I kept on constantly asking you what is ARP, but nobody's answered. Nobody's answering me. Okay, fine, no problem. So let's go ahead. Last practical, I gave you a simulation that I have switch 1, I have switch 2. They are connected like this. I have two VLANs, VLAN 10, VLAN 20. I have two VLANs, VLAN 10, VLAN 20. And I asked you that please do intra VLAN. Please do intra VLAN. Intra VLAN is VLAN to VLAN communication. Any doubts here? Come back, please. Any doubts? Come back. Everyone, any doubts? Please come back. Tejasvi, Moksha, Sriram, Nistala. Any doubts? Okay, fine. Then I think I should go ahead. This is a layer 2 communication. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now we are that case was intra VLAN. Now we are going to talk today about inter VLAN communication. What is trunk port? What is a trunk port? What is a trunk port?
Port which connects between two switches.
Good. Anything else?
Which tags which
Very good.
Tags the traffic.
Tagging VLAN, very good. Which tags the VLAN and carries the multiple VLAN traffic. Multiple VLAN traffic. Right? This is trunk. So anytime any port which is connected from switch to switch, as you said, no, it is not a trunk port. Why? Because if it is carrying only single LAN traffic, which is a VLAN 1 to VLAN 1, I don't need to configure trunk. Why? Because VLAN 1 is untagged. So don't configure a trunk. Trunk is always configured when you have multiple VLAN traffic. If you have VLAN 2, VLAN 3, VLAN 2, VLAN 3, then definitely you have to configure the trunk. Because then I have to give the identification to these VLANs. Got it? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, the next case is inter-VLAN communication. See, this is case 1. I told you that the switch is a layer 2 device, right? So I'm going to have a switch. And what I want that on a single floor, all the local area network, all the teams can be set, right? On a ground floor, all teams, IT, admin, sales, marketing, everyone is sitting. Now, this can happen with the help of the VLAN. But what if I'm going to have a switch? This is a layer 2 device. So whenever I have to do inter VLAN, this guy will not be able to do. Why? Why? Because it doesn't have layer 3 capabilities. If you want one subnet talk to another subnet, you need to have layer 3 device. Then only the communication is possible. So this guy cannot support it because it is layer 2. It only knows MAC. It doesn't understand IP. So it cannot route. So we connect a router for the inter VLAN. This particular scenario is known as router on a stick. Router on a stick. Simulation is, this is going to be our VLAN 10. This is going to be our VLAN 20. This is going to be a common interface, right? This is 0/1, 0/2, 0/3, 0/4, 0/5, F, right? On this sub interface, right? Here, how the traffic routing will happen. VLAN 10, if it needs to communicate with the VLAN 10, it will go to the switch, it will come back. But VLAN 10, in case wants to talk to VLAN 20, it will go to the router. Router will perform the routing and it will come back to VLAN 20. Is it okay, everyone? All okay till here? Any doubts?
Repeat once.
Repeat once. If I need inter-VLAN communication, I need to have a routing device. If VLAN 10 PCs needs to talk with each other, they will go to the switch and switch will route the traffic. Why? Because switch understands the local area network. So within my local area network, I am good. But when it comes to outside my local area network, I have to go to an intelligent device because I cannot support the inter VLAN. I cannot support the inter subnets. This is subnet 1, this is subnet 2. I have to go to a layer 3 device who supports the routing. So it will go here and it will come back to the VLAN 10. Got it? Doubts? Any doubts here? So we are going to perform inter-VLAN with router on a stick. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So the subnet which I will be taking for VLAN 10 will be 10.1.1.0/24, and for 20 it will be 20.1.1.0/24. So as per subnetting, you know the valid range. So it goes from 10.1.1.1 till 10.1.1.254, right? And this goes from 20.1.1.1 till 20.1.1.254. Now you will ask me that, okay, I have given an IP here 10.10.10.2. To this PC, I have given an IP 10.10.10.3. To this PC, I have given an IP 20.1.1.2. To this PC, I have given an IP 20.1.1.3. Now, can you define two IPs on a single interface? Why? Because one.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, last time when we are doing for intra VLAN, I have given 10.1.0.0 for the subnet mask of 24, ma'am. So
Okay.
there it was showing that it was invalid subnet, ma'am. Any clarity regarding this, ma'am?
Okay, no problem. So the same mask you have taken?
Yes, ma'am. Means for assignment you have given that one, no, ma'am. To have VLAN 10 as an IP address and to assign VLAN 20 one more IP address, ma'am.
Wait, let me showcase you.
I'm talking about last week's assignment, ma'am.
Okay, so that's what I asked you, Raj. That any problem, but nobody responded.
I mean, I have joined lately, ma'am. Sorry for that.
What we performed last week, I'm taking 10, 20, 10, 20. How we have connected it? We have connected it like this. Port number 1, port number 2, port number 1, port number 2, port number 3. My first system PC0 and PC1 belongs to VLAN 10. My second system PC2 and PC3 belongs to VLAN 20. Port number 3 is acting like as a trunk port and I'm performing intra VLAN. So you had a doubt that because I gave you VLAN 10 as 10.1.1.0. So fine, host name, switch 1, right? Now I will create VLAN 10, exit. I will create VLAN 20, exit. Fine. I'll go to the switch 2. I will do the same thing. Switch 2. Enable to get into the privilege mode. Configure terminal to get into the configuration mode. Host name to give an IP to the switch. Create the VLAN 10. You can give a name X. Exit to go one step back. VLAN 20. You can give a name Y. Exit. I can check. Control plus Z is the key to completely come into the hash mode, wherein you can do the show commands. So show VLAN. Can you see 10 and 20 has created? But no
Yes,
port
ma'am.
belongs to 10 and 20. All ports belongs to VLAN number 1. Same case, we will check switch number first, right? I'll say Control plus Z, show VLAN brief. So again, 2 VLANs has been created, but no port belongs to VLAN number 1. All ports belong, no port belongs to VLAN number 10 and 20, but all the ports belongs to VLAN number 1. As per my topology, first port belongs to 10, second port belongs to 20, first port belongs to 10, second 20, third is trunk. So I'm doing the same thing. I get into the configuration, interface F0/1, switch port, access VLAN 10, exit, interface F0/2, switch port, access VLAN 20. Right? Same way I'm going to do it in switch 1, configuration,
So give me a
interface
second.
F0/1,
Let me log in back to my
switch
laptop
port
now.
access
Just
VLAN 10, exit, interface F0/2, switch port access VLAN 20. I'm pressing the tab key to write down the whole command because otherwise you have to write switch port full. Now my port number 3 is trunk port. I told you all the ports of the switch are in auto negotiation mode. So if you are going to configure one port of one switch as trunk, the other port of other switch will automatically become trunk, right? So show interface trunk is the command to check whether my trunk is up or not. Trunk is up, all the VLANs are by default allowed to travel on the trunk. But if you want that I don't want a certain VLAN to travel on the trunk, I can always lock it. Fine. I can say show VLAN brief. I got to know, okay, my first port is 10, second port is 20, third port is trunk, and rest all the ports is still 1. Same, I can check here that I have made the trunk port on switch 1, whether my trunk has become automatically up or not. Yes, it has become automatically up because of the auto negotiation mode. I will go here. So this was the question, Raj, that this was the question you were asking, right? 10.1.1.c. That is the network ID. You are specifying the network ID. So you have to give 1. Then you give 255.255.255.0. Then you give 10.1.1. See, there is no gateway. So you don't require a gateway. But see, what is gateway? Gateway is a gate or an IP address or my immediate next hop to go out. I have to go out. What is my immediate next hop to go out? That is the default gateway. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Since I don't have a gateway, this is a layer 2 device. So it directly takes me to here. Gateway I require when I have to do inter-subnet communication or routing, right? So I will go back here, desktop IP 10.1.1.2. And since I have taken /24, so here I'm going. Similarly, I'll specify here 20. I don't need to define a gateway. Why I don't need to define a gateway? Because I don't want to. By default, it is /8. You can leave it on /8 as well, right? But I have been asked you to take /24. That's what I have done. That's why I'm taking 255.255.255.0. We'll close it. I have to test the intra VLAN. That means among VLAN. Am I able to ping my VLAN member? So yes. Just wait. So this is intra VLAN. Got it? But if I do inter VLAN, it's not work. Why? Because switch is a layer 2 device. It will never work. I need to have a layer 3 device. It can be a router, it can be a firewall, it can be a layer 3 switch. It can be any device who understands IP, who understands routing. Switch is not made to understand by default the IPs. We have some another layer of switches which understand IPs. So that's how we have enhanced their capability to layer 3. But by default, if you will take a switch, by default it starts doing your intra VLAN or the same local area network because it understands only MAC. Do you get it?
Ma'am, one more doubt, ma'am.
Very good, Raj. Good.
Ma'am, can we actually like we can directly put it on command line interface in that switch, ma'am, to assign IP address? Like we are typing on that box, no, ma'am. What I have done is in that command line interface only, I have the assigned IP address for that, ma'am. There it was showing wrong subnet mask for the given 10 dot.
You have an access to share your screen, sir. इनको access है share करने का screen को? Sir, Rajiv sir, are you there?
Ma'am, presently I have joined in my mobile, ma'am. Can I send the screenshot later, ma'am, about what I have done?
Acha, okay, no problem. No problem. So, batao, what you were asking? Come again. Because if I would have seen your screen, no, it would have been much better for me to like see it.
Yes, ma'am, but sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem. What you were asking? Tell me.
Like in that command line interface only, I have assigned the IP address, ma'am.
Okay. No, you don't have to. Why you are assigning an IP on a switch? I have not asked you to assign an IP on a switch. No, we will never do it because switch doesn't understand IP.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
That's why it is giving you a lot of prompt.
Yes, ma'am.
And we always assign the IP. ले लो. So whatever. So what we are doing, even if you are assigning an IP on a switch, no, this switch is something wherein I can define an IP, but it is only for the management, wherein I can do SSH or telnet or some management things. Because my switch never understands IP. How I can provide an IP only for management? Let's say interface VLAN 1 IP address. This is like what you are doing or what? You get into the interface and then you are assigning an IP, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that will not done. That will not be running.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Because this is a switch. Otherwise it would have taken. But again, you please take care that what subnet mask you will be assigning. It can be, see, it has to be an IP. It cannot be a network ID when you are assigning on a port. Even if you are doing this on a router, probably you might be assigning something like this. Let me come back on this. You were doing this?
Exactly, ma'am. That's what I have done.
Yes, exactly. So this is a network ID. This is the address of your family, not a family member. This is the address of the entire home in which a lot of people are sitting. Those people are nothing but the servers or interfaces. So they have to have an identification, a specific IP, not the home address. This address will be contained by the routing table in the router. Whenever we assign an IP address to a PC, to an interface of a router, or to any port, we always give a specific IP, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other doubts?
No, ma'am.
Good. Okay. Fine. So see, it will give me. Can you see this? This is the same I think you might be getting. So, okay. So let's get back. So we are going to do this now. There is a term. You can take a screenshot, guys. Everyone, please. You have all of you have your mobile phones with you. Please take the screenshot. Done with the screenshot? Good. Now, one thing more I would like to discuss with all of you here is the gateway. What is gateway? Gateway is nothing but a gate. Gateway is nothing but a gate. Gate means, let's say I am sitting in a local area network, right? And these PCs has an IP of some 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2. Now to go out, my immediate next hop is switch, but switch doesn't know IP, doesn't understand IP. So where I will go, he will route me to the router or a gateway. The IP here becomes the gateway to go out. So this is the immediate next hop for me, and the IP of this guy will become a gateway for me. Gateway is always required when you have to go out and talk to some another subnet, right? Got it?
Ma'am.
Good. My immediate next hop is the gateway. So we are going to implement this, everyone. We are on this router, since I cannot give the two IPs to this interface. Why? Because this will be having the gateway of its local area network. This will also be having the gateway of the local area network here. So there is a fast Ethernet port on the router. If I have multiple VLANs, I will never ask you to take multiple interfaces on the router, because this increases my cost, right? So what I will do, there is a suggestive solution. I can work out on the sub interfaces. These are the logical interfaces wherein you can assign an IP address. And these interfaces I'm going to tag it with the VLAN number 10. And this interface, I'm also going to tag with the VLAN number 20. And these interfaces becomes the gateway for VLAN 10. And this interface will become the gateway for VLAN 20. The concept is clear? Loud and clear enough? Or any doubts? Come back here. When I'm going to create sub interfaces, the sub interface acts like as a gateway. Am I loud and clear enough? Come back. Okay. So you have taken the screenshot. I'm going to implement it, right? So what we are going to do, what we are going to do, the sub interface F0/0, I'm going to create a logical sub interface. I give an IP address here as 10.1.1.1/24. I will define an encapsulation .1q. .1q is the protocol which supports tagging, and I'm binding it with VLAN number 10. I again get into 0/0.20. I again define an IP address, and I again tag it with the VLAN number 20. Right? This is the router configuration. Then switch configuration is simple. You will create VLAN 10. You will create VLAN 20. You will define this port number 5 as trunk. There are two systems connected with port number 1 and 2, which acts as VLAN 10. There are two more systems connected with 3 and 4, which acts as VLAN number 20. So this is 10.1.1.2, this is 1.3, this is 20.1.1.2, and this is 1.3 with all subnet mask of /24. And we have to perform the inter VLAN. So intra VLAN is within the same VLAN, that will work with this switch only. We don't need to define a gateway. When we need to have a gateway, see, understand it very short and simple. If I am within my house and I have to talk to my sister, brother, I don't need anything because I know they are in my home. But when I need to go and talk to my neighbor, I have to go out of my gate and then I have to talk. Or when I have to go to somebody's else home, or probably my neighbor or some my friend which is going to stay far away from me, I have to go out and I have to locate the address. So then I need to have a gate. Do you get it? Everyone? Respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Very difficult to understand, no? Too much use of your energy as well as brains. Some of you might be thinking why she's bothering us time and again on every Saturday. No?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
No, ma'am.
voice is loud and clear. But when I'm teaching you, then your voice is, yes, ma'am. It is like, okay, fine. See, understand it. This is really very good concepts. I mean, whenever you are going to even recruit it with a company, the first training the company asks the people when they join is to do this training. Right? So I teach corporate people because and now this is a batch wherein you are interns and you are going to probably deploy on the network or infrastructure platform. You have got a great chance to learn all these concepts early in your third year. So make full use of it. I train the people who have even done 10 years or 11 years of work experience in Ericsson or probably some another organization, and then they undergo this training. You imagine that complexity what they have. When I ask you after your 10 years of job experience to do this training, wherein you might have been deployed on some other platform, or you are doing something else, but you are suddenly being asked to go to cloud or manage data centers, then you have to learn these concepts. They are very important. Everywhere you will find it. So please learn seriously, right? So to the people who are not responding even back in the training, please come back with your doubts. What I'm teaching you right now, I am teaching it to the professionals, and to high-end professionals, I'm telling you. It's only that I'm there with you. Please make the full advantage of your time, money, your efforts, my efforts. Please do that. Don't take it lightly. Nobody gets this training like this. It's only and only with the corporate people. College guys, they never get this at the time of the third year and all. Right? It's been a chance which has been given to you. Make full use out of it. Take the screenshot. We are going to implement it. This is router on a stick or inter VLAN. Inter VLAN with router on a stick. Take the screenshot, come back. I will implement it. You can see me. And taken the screenshot, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. And what was the, let me see, classroom, classmate, what was the link? Okay. So, Rajiv. Are yaar, how to upload it? Tell me. What is the link?
Ma'am, you have classroom in the drive section.
No, this one. I have to open it. Join. Then
You have Google Drive access, no man. The menu
which one? Yeah, this one, right?
top corner. You have Drive
I
menu.
have my Google Drive. That's fine.
In that
But
classroom also present, ma'am. In that
Are-
menu classroom also present, ma'am.
is it? So let me try it searching. Classroom.
Not in Drive, ma'am.
Then
Menu option, ma'am.
menu option. Let me close it then. Where menu option, yeah.
You got menu, no man. That the Drive to access the Drive.
Okay. Where is menu option? This one?
Yes, ma'am. In that classroom also present, ma'am.
Acha. This one?
Yes, ma'am.
No, that is okay. But how to add, how to give you the assignment?
Open that classroom, first one.
This one?
This GMRIT system.
Acha, 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 acha. Now I got it. Very good. So announce something to the class. This is fine. I'm going to do.
तो सेफ्टी पिन से आपके पास तो सेफ्टी पिन से
हाँ है अंदर है
किधर
मेरे किट में देख. So no, not link. I have to upload. Right. So browse this one. This coach tech. Coach tech and what else? What we have to do? I can't keep on forgetting. Enter VLAN, right? Switch VLAN configuration. I think this is enter VLAN only. See, this is the document which I'm sharing with you, right? Wherein you will find your VLAN configuration for the inter VLAN case 1 and for your layer 3 switch as well. So this is, let me write it down, configuration for lab 2 inter VLAN router on a stick, right? You can access it, right? Till then, let me also check what I got. So fine. I'll get into Coforge. See, this is the company training which I'm directly opening the documents. So I've been taking a lot of batches with this company. So I've made the sample configurations. That's why I was telling you that either you do it seriously now or you do it later. You have to do this. So it's better that you take the full use of this when you are doing it in your 6th semester. Right? So here in the switch configurations, which I have put, VLAN 10 name IT, VLAN 20 name sales. This is the switch configuration. You go to interface range, first 2 ports belongs to 10, come out 1 step. Next 2 ports belongs to VLAN 20, come out totally. You can check show VLAN brief. Control plus Z key is directly come into the hash mode. You get into port number 5, which connects to the router. As you can see your screenshots, which I have asked you to take on this, right? This is port number 5. This becomes a trunk, right? I have also, you can please refer to your screenshots when you are seeing this configuration. Should I start from again? Please open your screenshots either on your mobiles or on your laptops and please see the screenshots.
Okay.
So I'm repeating again, switch configuration. First, we are going to create VLAN 10. We can give it a name. We have to create a VLAN 20. We can give it a name. After the creation, we get into the first 2 ports, which becomes a member of VLAN number 10. The next 2 ports, which becomes a member of VLAN number 20. The 5th port is the trunk. Show VLAN brief to check whether everything is done or not. Show interface trunk to check the status of the trunk. Any doubt still here? Come back.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Good, very good. Good. Now I'm going to get into the router. You can see that switch is a layer 2 device and I have not given any IP here. No IP since it doesn't understand IP. Router on a stick. I'm getting into the router configuration, enable. Same, router is a routing device. Same command line it follows. Enable to get into the hash, that is privilege mode. Get into the configuration mode. We get into the configuration mode. I can give a host name. You can leave this configuration. The enable secret. This is the password. This is the command line to define the password, which is a secret, which is a encrypted password, right? So when I am writing enable secret means encrypt the password. What password is Cisco, right? Line VTY 0 to 4. This is a telnet access from 0 to 4. That means maximum 5 people at a time can access my routing device 0 to 4. Starting from the 0 port number till 4. I mean, these are the 5 users which can access me remotely. Let's say my router is placed on the 10th floor and I'm placed at the ground floor. I'm sitting at the ground floor. So from my ground floor, my laptop, I want to remotely log in into the router, right? So the password is 12345. Any doubt still here?
No, ma'am.
Good. Exit again to go one step back. Router is not aware about the VLANs. So you create VLAN database, you create VLAN 10, VLAN 20 and exit. That means now router also knows 10 and 20, right? I get into the first port of the router, F00, you can refer to your screenshots, no shutdown. Why this command? Because by default, all the ports of the router are administratively down. They are admin down. Whatever router you will take from Cisco or Juniper, all the interfaces of the routers are admin down. So we say no shut it. That means please open up. Exit. Now I cannot give 2 IP addresses to this interface, right? So I get into the sub interface. Interface F0/0.10, right? Interface F0/0.10. And we define an encapsulation .1Q10. We tag this sub interface with a VLAN tag, which is 10, right? Why? Because whenever the traffic from the switch is going to come up with a VLAN number 10, it should see this sub interface where I am defining an IP to act as a gateway for VLAN 10. Got it? This is sub interface. I'm telling boss, now you are being tagged with 10. Whenever the traffic from VLAN 10 from the downlink switch is coming, you have to act as a gateway. They will contact you. Got it? Doubts? Doubts? Then I get into interface, sub interface 0/0.20. We tag it with a VLAN tag, what 20. This is the protocol for tagging. And we give it an IP address of this. This IP will be gateway for VLAN 20. Why? Because this sub interface is tagged with 20. PC, the IP is this, the gateway is this. Second PC, the IP is this, the gateway is this. The other two PCs, IP and gateway, you can see. Doubts, come back.
No, ma'am.
Good, very nice. So you have this document with you. I'm going to implement it. So see it carefully now. So you have the document, you can open the document with you. So I'm going to create altogether new. drag a switch. Please take care of your port numbers. Don't copy as what I have typed in the document. Please use your brain. Don't act like as a guy who just copies the things, right? So don't be a fool, right? So for the automatic port number, I have to select this. I have to drag 1841 router 1841. This is 1841. I will select this cable. First port to first PC if you have to go as per my topology, my configuration. Second, but if you are connecting the router first, then it will take the port number 1 to the router, right? Got it? So first two ports VLAN 10, next two ports VLAN 20, fifth port trunk, sub interface IP and the tagging. So I'll get into the switch. I'll go to the CLI. I'll open it up. I'll say enable configuration terminal. Host name I can give switch 1. I can say VLAN 10 name X exit VLAN 20 name Y exit interface range because I have first two ports belonging to VLAN 10 exit interface range switch port access VLAN 20 exit interface F0/5. You can please refer to your document as well as the screenshots which I have asked you to take, and that's all. We come out of it. First two ports 10, next two ports 20, fifth port connects to the router is trunk. Show VLAN brief. I can see the first two ports 10, the next two ports 20. Fifth port is trunk, but it is still a member of VLAN 1. Why? Because I told you all the ports of the router is down. Red means down. The port, if it is red status, that means it has not come up. You get into the router. You continue with the configuration dialog? No, I don't want to continue with the configuration dialog. Enable configure terminal the same way, just like you are doing with the switch. You can define the name. You can define the name site 1, any name which you like.
हमारा मुझसे कुछ मांगा नहीं खाने के लिए, दे दिया उसने।
मैंने खा लिया।
Site 1. Then you can say interface F0/0 and then you can say no shutdown. Right? No shutdown. Once you say no shutdown here, you get into the switch and you can check show VLAN brief. See, fifth number port is no more here. Why? Because it has become a trunk. Let me check show interface trunk. I can see the fifth number port is a trunk now. The trunking is on. Encapsulation is 802.1q. All the VLANs are allowed. I will save the configuration WR. इसको खुले रखो. I'll save the configuration WR. नहीं आएगी. Just wait. Wait, come here. So we are into the configuration of the router, right? Sorry, let me share my screen again. I'll get into the router. Right? And I can check the brief interface, show IP interface brief. The show IP interface brief is the command line to check the brief status of the interfaces in the router. So my F00, no IP is assigned, but the status is up and the protocol is up. Whereas the other port, no assign of the IP and everything is down. Can you see administratively down? So get into the configuration, interface F0 slash, no, before this, I will create a VLAN database. VLAN database. VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and exit. Configuration, interface F0 slash 0.10, encapsulation .1q. I'm tagging. I'm giving it an IP 10.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. I will come out of it. I will get into F0 slash 0.20. Encapsulate. These are the logical interfaces. So they always up. You don't have to say no shutdown, right? .1q 20 IP address 20.1.1.1 255.255.255.6 exit, and that's all. Show IP interface brief. Can you see my both the sub interfaces are up? Any doubts here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Great then. Fine. Then okay. So we will save the configuration WR or copy running. Running means whatever we are doing. To what? Startup. Startup is a by default file in your switch as well as the router or in any Cisco devices where the configuration gets stored. Right. So when the next time the router boots up, it boots up with the same configuration. Right. So we get into the PC, we get into the desktop, we get into the IP assignment of the PCs. We give it an IP 10.1.1.2. By default, it is class A, so it has taken 255.0.0.0. But since we are going to give class C IP, I can. And I need a gateway because here the requirement is the inter VLAN. So definitely it will be require a gate to go out. If it had been an intra VLAN within the same VLAN, then it doesn't require a gateway because they are same family members. So I will give an IP 10.1.1.3 55.255.255.6 20.1.1.2 55.255.255.0. So this is VLAN 10. Let me ping the gateway first of all. First of all, my family member. 10.1.1.3. I can talk from PC0 to PC1. Fine. Now let me check. Can I talk to my router? I can. My request is going from here to here. Right? Now can I ping the gateway of other router which is sitting at this? Sorry. Can I ping the gateway of the other VLAN which is still sitting on this router? Yes, I can. Right? Can I ping from PC0 till PC2? Let me check. So the first is the ARP request. It is trying to diagnose the MAC of this PC. Now the ARP has been resolved. And the second time, since the MAC is in the cache of the PC0, it will do unicast. Unicast means it will not do any packet drop. It will because it knows now it will directly go. You can check ARP table, ARP-A. And you see there is a MAC resolution. When I get into this, there is an ARP resolution. I got a MAC against these IP. Everyone. Please take your time, come back with your doubts, understand it. I'll give you 10 minutes or 5 minutes to understand and ask me your doubts. Because if you will not understand this, I cannot proceed with your case number 2, which is your layer 3 switch communication. So take your time. So yes, any doubts? 5 minutes over. Any doubts? Come back, guys. Into Vlan.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let me discuss a case number 2 with you, if no doubts. So I'm presuming that everything is fine. Now, what if I don't have a router and if I need to connect again a switch, but that switch has a layer 3 capability? I can do that, right? So that is my case number 2. So case number 2 says that I am going to have a layer 3. I am going to have the same scenario. Layer 2 switch. I have PCs, VLAN 10, VLAN 20. The same thing you will be implementing in your home assignment for today. And we will be having a layer 3 switch, L3 switch, right? And this is it. 0/1, 0/2, 0/3, 0/4 to port number 5. I have connected the port number 1 of the L3 switch. Right? Now, the same thing, we have VLAN 10, we have VLAN 20, right? Wallet de de, fitafit le aa. Now, see, this layer 3 switch has the IP capability. It is as good as you are using a router. Then somebody can ask you, why I need to have a router? Why not a layer 3 switch? Why I need to have a router? So in that case, the answer is that the router works a lot of work, like my WAN. If I have my traffic is going towards my wide area network side where a WAN is there, then I might be needing a router for that. But wherein I have a layer 3 switch, but wherein I'm going to have inter VLAN. Inter VLAN, that means who's taking care of my local area network. So wherein I'm going to have the inter VLAN communication, that means only the local area network communication, I will suggest a layer 3 switch, right? Right? So I'm going to take care that the layer 3 switch is there. But in case, because this is the local area network traffic, right? So wherein I'm going to talk about the VLANs, I will deploy a layer 3 switch, but wherein I'm going to connect a router who's going to go outside on some internet or another side, we will be having a router. It is something like we are 26 people out here, and I'm going to put all the workload of 26 people on 2 or 3 persons, then they will definitely get drained out. So the router, let it do its own role, and the switch, let it do its own role. So let the switch or the layer 3 switch do the handling of the LAN, VLAN, all that things, and let the router take care of the WAN thing. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, whatever I can do on router, I can do on layer 3 switch. But since the workload segregation has to be there, so that the device effective performance should be good, right? We have the separate devices, right? Now inter-VLAN communication with this guy, which is a layer 3 switch. So what I can do, I can even give an IP to the sub interfaces, just like I have given it to the router. But generally you will not see this in the production scenario. Since this is a switch, this is also a switch. The moment you will make it as a trunk, this will automatically become trunk. You don't have to configure VLAN database, VLAN, then trunk port, no, right? So whatever the tagged traffic is coming from here, it gets understood by default by this layer 3 switch. You don't have to say encapsulation.1q10, encapsulation.1q20, just like you were defining into the router, right? So layer 3 switch, first of all, there are configurations. So again, you can take the screenshot again. Layer 2 switch, layer 3 switch, right? The same way, the same IP schema, 10.1.1.0/24, 20.1.1.0/24. This is a trunk port. So switch configuration, right? So layer 2 switch configuration, you will create a VLAN. You will create 2 more VLANs. You will define port number 1 and 2 belong to VLAN number 10. You will take port number 3 to 4 belonging to VLAN 20, and you will put port number 5 for the trunk, right? Any doubts still here?
No, ma'am.
No. So let me get into the configuration. एक minute. So let me write down the configuration of the layer 3 switch. Wait, just wait for a while. So sorry. So layer 3 switch configuration. Again, you will create VLAN 10, VLAN 20. You can give it a name to them. Now, you have to enable IP routing. Why? Because by default, the switch is going to have its layer 2 functionality. So once you enable the IP routing, you will this switch will acquire the capability of understanding the routing, right? Then how to define a gateway? That means whenever the traffic is going to come from VLAN 10 to this layer 3 switch, you have to define a gateway here. So you can give an IP here. Since the single interface cannot have two IPs, one for 10, one for 20. So I can define the sub interface. But instead of doing this, we define SVI. These are known as switched virtual interfaces. These acts like as the gateways. These acts like as the gateway for VLAN. These are the logical interfaces, gateway or VLANs. So how we'll create it? We get into interface VLAN 10. Since these are logical, so you don't have to say no shut. You just give an IP address 10.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. Exit in layer 3 switch. Interface VLAN 20 and just give an IP address. Any doubts here, everyone? This is the configuration. Doubts? Any doubts? Take the screenshot. Take the screenshot. If you have doubts, come back. Raj, everyone, doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Very good. Screenshot ले लिया? Done with the screenshots?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back. I will delete a router. Take this, cut it, or you can draw the another simulation. Go on to the switches. 3560 you have to take, which is a 24 port layer 3 switch. Connect it to the layer 3 switch. Port number 5 is a trunk. Port number 1 will automatically become trunk. And the ports of all the switches are no shut by default. They are not like router. So they will take some time and the ports will become green. You will see in a while they will become green. Unlike router where they become red or where so they are sensing, so they will become green. So why it takes so much time, we will discuss it in the class the next week, right? The class which I will be taking the next week, because the switches, they take some time. Whenever you are going to connect a PC or whenever anything is going to get connected on their port, they take some time. Why? Right? So that I'm going to take it up in my next lecture for the next week. But right now everything is green. So switch configuration remains same. So layer 3 switch, enable, configuration same. You can give it a host name as layer 3 switch, right? You have to enable IP routing because otherwise it will not behave like as a router. Then you can define VLAN 10 exit. You can define a name just like I have defined it, but that's not mandatory, right? So interface VLAN 10 IP address 10.1.1.2. Sorry, 1. 255.255.255. Exit interface VLAN 20 address 20.1.1.255.255. Show IP interface. Please keep on using the tabs. Why? Because the tabs will give you a flexibility to write down the whole command. Can you see that all the interfaces which I have created is up? These are SVI, switched virtual interfaces, which acts as a gateway for VLANs. Doubts? Got it? So we can save the configuration with the WR. Show VLAN brief. The same command works because it is a switch. It is also a layer 3 switch. Show interface trunk. That's it. The same thing. You define, you start pinging up. Let me ping my local area network. This is from the PC0. You can please refer to your screenshots. I am able to do that. I want to ping my gateway. So it's taking an ARP request because the upper layer is also L3 switch. So it takes ARP because now it's not router, it's a switch. 20.1. I'm able to reach my gateway. So this is the PC inter VLAN with the layer 3 switch. Got it, everyone? That's it. That's all. This is inter VLAN communication with the layer 3 switch. Any doubts now? Whosoever has not got it, please come back. Doubts?
No, ma'am.
Good. No. So, will you implement this? Will you implement this?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to try it now? Tell me, do you want to try it now?
Ma'am, one doubt.
What?
Ma'am, one doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell.
Ma'am, we have seen two cases, ma'am. Case one using router and case two using layer 3 switch.
Exactly.
So when we coming to the efficiency, like maybe taking the attributes such as cost, reliability and all, which one is best case, ma'am, when we see both?
See
both
here,
these?
we are not going to have a cost, reliability and all. So reliability is one factor. But since it is my local area network, it is not going to travel on a wire who's going to connect it to my internet router or to my outside router, right? So I will always go on to the least cost. Cost not in terms of the bandwidth, but cost in terms of my device. So layer 3 switch is almost, less expensive as compared to the router. So both cases are equally good, but wherein I'm again telling you, let's say we all are a member of 23, 24 people out sitting here. Now, what if I'm going to say, okay, Raj, you do the work of all of them. So your efficiency will be less, or no? You will say that I have to see inside work as well as outside work. Both the work has to be seen by me. So I will segregate the network. I will say that I will appoint a guy who is going to take care of all my office work, who is going to deal it with the outside. So I have a router in that case. So this is a better method of doing, like case 2. Why? Because router is also doing the workload of the routing. That is the WAN. When it is going to internet, anybody is going out, going in, coming in, going out, coming in. Whereas switch is only going to take care of your local area network traffic. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So reliability in terms of the reliability, both are good, no problem. But since efficiency is one factor which we need to take care into account, so case 2 is much better. That means what I'm doing, let's say I'm having a building. In this building, let's say this is the company, let's say this is Accenture, right? And to this company Accenture, he's saying that my office is in Bangalore. And Accenture is also going to say there is one more location, one more building of Accenture, and this is, let's say, Pune, right? Let's say Pune. Now this is Accenture Pune. This here it is a 10-floor building. Lot of people, lot of employees are sitting here. It is again a 10-floor building. Fine. I have multiple teams sitting: IT, admin, sales. I have again marketing, sales, finance. I have finance, IT, admin. I have a lot of other teams who are sitting here. Similarly, here, the same IT, admin, sales. I have IT, marketing, sales, finance, right? So a lot of teams are sitting here. Now, how to deploy it? Since these guys are VLANs, VLAN 2, VLAN 3, VLAN 4, VLAN 5, VLAN 6, something 7. Similarly here. So for the entire building of only Bangalore, I will probably deploy layer 3 switch for the inter VLAN. Do you get it? I will probably deploy L3 switch for the inter VLAN, because I will ask this guy, please take care of all the internal Bangalore traffic. Please take care of all the internal Pune traffic. And when it comes on, oh yes, Accenture Bangalore guys has to talk to Pune. Let's say I am sitting here, Raj is sitting at Bangalore location, and let's say some other girl is sitting at this location. Now they are belonging to the same team. They have to talk. So Raj will go talk to this guy and say, I have to go out and talk to Pune location. So it will forward me to the router. So router is going to take care of your routing. Do you get it now?
Yes, ma'am.
So everywhere it is L2 switch, L2 switch, L2 switch, L2 switch, L2 switch. Finally, it gets connected to L3 switch for the inter VLAN. Fine. As soon as I'm fixed, I'm there within my local area, within my Bangalore building, I'm good. I don't need router. You go away. I don't need you. Right? But whenever I'm going to go out, so he has the workload of only WAN. That means routing. Am I having a route to reach Pune? If yes, please route me. If no, drop the packet. What is there with me? I am going to handle entire stuff which is happening within the local inter VLAN, within the local area networks. Fine. Make sense now?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So this is, any other doubt? This is all for today. What I am doing to do, I can upload it. I can upload some, first of all, this white paper. Save as day. Let me upload it.
दीदी और कुछ तो नहीं बोले पिंक मोमोज
Just me. So we have done inter-VLAN today, right? Day 2 inter-VLAN white paper. I have given you already the book about switching. Please read that. It's already there, right? Assignment is the same. What is the assignment for today? Let me write it down. So new. So okay. So I have to write it down in a Word file, right? Everyone, Word file में लिखना होता है क्या assignment? Yes, everyone. I don't need to, I think. So here is your assignment, what you have to do, right? So lab assignment, right? Switching. Inter-VLAN. Router. Create 2 VLANs in a switch. Connect a router to a L2 switch. Configure VLAN 10 with end.1.0/24. Configure VLAN 20 with 20.1.0/24. Configure the port 0/5 as trunk. Configure the router for inter-VLAN. End-to-end ping should work. Right? Case 2. Connect a L3 switch 3560 with L2 switch. Configure L3 switch with necessary inter-VLAN, necessary SVIs for VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Perform inter-VLAN communication L3 switch. Understood, everyone? Switching is really very important, right? This is the configuration what I'll be sharing, right? I have already shared with you, but still, right? And what else I will be sharing with you? The switching labs were also there, I think. Only the configuration I have uploaded. Here the router on a stick lab is there, right? No, I'm not going to upload. Fine. So you have the configuration and this is the evaluation what you have to do. Fine, everyone. The same evaluation I'm giving you, but I could have made it more complex, but I'm not doing it because you are new onto this, right? I could have given you the classless or subnet examples to design the lab and to do it on your own. But since you are new to it, let's do it like this. Right? Any doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubt.
No doubts. Fine then. You can practice till then. We still have 10 minutes to go. You can start practicing in case you have any doubts, come back. Right? I'll take another topic in my next class now. Have all the material on your this portal.